Hi everybody. He set out in search of someone to save. Expeditious climbed for 3. That is happened with Barack Obama, and Hi, and welcome to another video. So today is the beginning of what I'm calling the Read All of My Poetry Collections Challenge. So as we all know, April is Poetry Month, and over the past year I've collected a lot of poetry collections. I really enjoy reading poetry. I've kind of picked up collections at used bookstores and indie shops and Barnes & Noble and things like that, all different kinds of poetry collections that I really am interested in. But I have read a whole bunch of poetry collections already that I own, but I still have 6 collections that I have not read that I currently have on my TBR. So my goal this month is to read all of these, even though it might be a little bit difficult because I'm, 1, still in school, and 2, I'm doing another readathon later in the month. But I hope that I can still read all of these and film the experience for you, and I'll let you know along the way what I think of these. So I hope you enjoy. Alright, here we are. This is the first cracking open of a poetry book in this vlog. So I am just hanging out outside. This is my little porch, and here's my book. And yeah, I'm gonna get to reading. Alright, so I have finished Felicity by Mary Oliver. This took me, gosh, maybe 20 minutes to finish. It's an 80-page collection, but half of the pages, like the back sides of the pages, they don't have any poetry on them. So it's basically only 40 poems. And I finished it in the blink of an eye, and I enjoyed every single poem. I really, really like this collection. Mary Oliver is one of my favorite poets. And this just solidifies that to me even more. So I wanted to share with you a poem that I really liked, as well as a poem that I felt very connected to in terms of the current situation. So the one I generally liked was Except for the Body on page 63. Except for the body of someone you love, including all its expressions in privacy and in public. Trees, I think, are the most beautiful forms on the earth. Though admittedly, if this were a contest, the trees would come in extremely distant second. I just thought that was put so beautifully, and that one just made me, I don't know, it made me smile, and it made me feel love and appreciation, and it was just beautiful. So I really enjoyed that poem. And then the one that I really feel connected to right now is called Leaves and Blossoms Along the Way. And I'm just going to read to you a small part of that one. Try to find the right place for yourself. If you can't find it, at least dream of it. When one is alone and lonely, the body gladly lingers in the wind or the rain, or splashes into the cold river or pushes through the ice-crusted snow, anything that touches. So I just really felt like this one touched me in the certain circumstance of everything that we're going through right now, right? Quarantining and being alone and not knowing what your place is right now in society other than just to do nothing. And that feels really disconcerting, just not knowing your place, not knowing if you have a place. And I definitely feel that. I've been dreaming about the future and dreaming about things that I want to happen in my life because I don't really know what my place is right now. And in terms of when we're lonely, the body gladly lingers in nature, I totally agree with that. Not being able to be around people that you love, people that you respect, I think it's a really good time. As you saw, I was just sitting outside. It's a really good time to spend time outside. Get in nature. If you can take a hike by yourself, definitely do that. If you can just sit outside, if you have a deck or a porch or something that you can sit outside, It's really, really nice and feels amazing just to have that time to yourself and the time to reflect. And if you can't get outside at all, definitely try to read some poetry about nature, because it gives you that same feeling of calm and serenity and being intuitive, thinking in yourself about all of these things that are going on and trying not to think about it too. You can take it as a way of thinking about it peacefully and as a way of distracting yourself. So I would definitely recommend this collection, Felicity by Mary Oliver. There's a lot of poems about nature. There's a lot of poems about love. There's a lot of poems about God, and not in a way that's overwhelming or Christian-ish. It's very open, and it's questioning a lot of things, like what is God, what does it mean, and the connection between God and nature. So I really, really loved this poetry collection, and I have one poetry collection down out of my 6 that I have total. So 5 more to go in this reading vlog. Yay! Hello. So it's another day. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read anything in like 2 or 3 days. I've been going through a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into it, just stuff in my personal life, and I've been really struggling to focus on schoolwork and on reading or on anything else. The only thing I managed to do yesterday was play a game of Settlers of Catan, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So if you're looking for something that is going to eat up a lot of time during your day and keep you interested, I would definitely recommend that game. But otherwise, I haven't gotten a lot of reading done. But I'm ready to start reading again, and I am going to pick up Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook. And this is a poetry collection that I was super, super excited about getting, couldn't find it anywhere, and finally was able to find it at Barnes & Noble a while ago. It was like 6 months ago that I found this, and I had only gotten about 13 poems into it, and that's because when I read this, each poem comes with a song recommendation. So I have a playlist on YouTube where I have been putting all of my songs, or all of the songs that are recommended by Alicia Cook, to go with her poems. I've been listening to them while reading the poem and adding them to a playlist with all of the songs. So to be honest with you, I haven't gotten very far in this just because it's a lot of energy and work to do it. And I have a lot of fun reading this. Like, the first 13 poems were great, but it's hard to kind of get a large chunk of this poetry collection done while trying to upload or trying to put a whole playlist together. So I'm going to attempt to, during this whole vlog, to read like 20 pages of this throughout, each, I guess, day that I'm reading, and just try to chip through it, because this is probably going to be the hardest one to finish for me. So I'm going to try to break it up and see if I can't get it done in this challenge. So yeah. Also, just wanted to mention, this has been my attire lately on quarantine. I just have this giant onesie, and it's freaking cold in my house. So I've just been wearing this. So if this is what you see in the video, I'm not a crazy person, I promise. I just don't want to get actual clothes on. Alright, so it's a little bit later. I have changed my sheets. I have played another round of Settlers of Catan, my favorite game, and I didn't win this time, unfortunately, but that's okay. It was still really fun. But I am back to continue reading this book. I just wanted to share with you one of the poems that really touched me, and I felt just worked really well with the song. The song was Rebel Beat by the Goo Goo Dolls, and I really like that band. I grew up listening to Iris by them, so it already was sentimental. And this is track 16 in the book, and this is what the poem says. The new normal is rarely an easy adjustment, and never truly feels, well, normal. Let's be honest, Plan B is never preferred. Detours and alternate routes are never quite as scenic. The darkness of being gifted a second chance is that it means something went wrong in the first place. And yet, I would rather have a few speed bumps slow me down, causing me to spill coffee on my dress, than ever hand someone else the keys to my life. And that just really touched me right now in the current situation that I'm going through, and just in general. I think it's a beautiful poem, and I think that combined with the sentimentality of the song it was paired with really got me. I was tearing up a little bit with that poem. But I'm just going to continue reading and listening to songs, and I'll check back in with you in a little bit. Good morning. This is the outfit of the day. At least it's not a onesie, so that's progress. Alright, so today is a new day, and I got through about maybe 30 pages of Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook, and I think I forgot to film part of it last night, but I started reading Between You and These Bones by F.D. Soul, and I thought that I had talked about it, but going through the footage, I guess I didn't. This is a collection that I've been meaning to read for a very long time. I really, really like this collection so far. I am, 100 pages into it, because last night I got super into reading this, and I think I was just really involved in it, and I didn't end up filming anything. So this is the book that I am currently reading and that I'm going to continue reading today. And before I do that, though, I kind of wanted to do some self-care, just because I've been feeling really down. So I figured I would show you what I was doing with that, and maybe you can find some inspiration for yourself. So I have my essential oil diffuser going with some lemon oil and patchouli oil, and I am going to use my Literary Witch's Oracle. Alright, so this was the layout that I pulled. I got Toni Morrison. Isn't that just a beautiful card? Toni Morrison is power, or the powers at play in your life, or what gives you power. And it could even be read as what takes away power from you. Then I got Eel, which is, what lurks, electricity, and dishonesty. So something that takes power away from me could be dishonesty, and that could be what lurks right now. And then with Apple is the senses, hunger, and sex. So that could be something that takes away power from me, is having hunger and needs that I can't fulfill. So that's the way I'm reading that right now. Or I could read it as it's powerful to have hunger, it's powerful to have need. But you can read it either way. And then with Spider is, Spider is focus, planning, and digesting. So I would read that as it gives you power, and it's a powerful thing in your life to be focused and to fully digest kind of what's going on in your life. So that's my oracle reading. Just thought I would share that with you. It's just a fun thing that I occasionally do. So, yeah.
It is a beautiful thing to need. I come home and I am crying again. I call and tell myself I do not need you. How? It is a beautiful thing to need you. I cry and Google the word relapse. I write a poem. I leave the word relapse out on its own in the cold and feel bad for it. I let it back in, kiss it like a strange and elderly uncle somewhere on my mother's side. I make up a stretcher for it on the floor, next to the swirls of hair that collect like dust, or those mandalas of hair women make on shower walls. I cry for 40 minutes because the firemen in the movie are dead. I cry, and my boyfriend tells me I'm an ugly crier. He is not wrong, but still. I go shopping for a dress for my 21st. I tell the lady in the shop it must be red. I cry over the word relapse and eat a bowl of honey puffs for lunch afterward. On Tuesday, a blog pats my shoulder, tells me to enjoy my own company. I hand it an obscenity and eat honey puffs again. I feel small and nap for 3 hours. Wednesday gets me out of bed with a thud. I evict a piece of Monday toast and 2 Milky Bar wrappers from my floor. I sweep out some of the hair, take down the stretcher. On Thursday, I remember that showers exist. I wear things other than my duvet. Realize I have had dry eyes for 3 days now. Think of starting a star chart. Friday comes home, and I am not crying, but it would be okay if I were. I call because I need you. I make pancakes, practice yoga. Remember I hate yoga. Do the washing, try piano, try being gentle. Sing a little, write a poem. Forgive myself for being dog-eared and lovely and fragile and so wonderfully and invariably human.
I have new hair. I have been thinking about shaving all or some of my head for a while now, and now is the time because quarantine. So last night I went downstairs to my family and was like, we're gonna shave my head. And my dad was like, hold on, let's just do some of it and see how it goes. So he shaved like a little bit here, and I was like, no, we have to go more. So then he shaved all of this, and I love it so much. But I'm probably gonna have to shave all of it when I'm done with this hairstyle just so that my hair grows out evenly. But I'm also excited about that. So stay tuned for more shaved head content, I guess. But anyway, I am going to continue reading Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook. I'm going to try to blow through some of this and just listen to the songs and try to get further in this because I'm only on page 49, so I should probably work on that. Alright, so I have gotten a few pages further into Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately, and I have a comment. It's completely personal because I know everyone has different music tastes, but I am struggling a little bit to get through a lot of this because her music selection is very eccentric and odd, I feel like, and it spans across genres, but they're not songs that are like popular necessarily. A few of them, but not a lot of them. And I find her going into kind of obscure Eminem songs for a lot of things. So she goes really far into like the rap side. But then again, like 50 to 60% of the songs in here are country that she relates them to. And I find that those two genres are some of the ones that I don't like the most. I don't like metal, I don't like country very much at all, and I really don't like a lot of rap. Some rap I like, but some I don't. So I'm having a hard time listening to the songs while reading this. And I know you don't have to do that, but I feel like considering that every single poem has a different song that goes with it. She was thinking of that song while writing the poem or listening to that song while writing the poem. I feel like to have the full experience of this book, you have to do both. But I'm struggling because some of the songs in here are just I'm not enjoying most of the songs. I am enjoying a couple of the songs. There are a few songs that I really liked that I was able to put on the playlist. I can pull it up for you now and tell you ones that are my favorite. Let's see. We got some Ellie Goulding, which was good. I really liked Shattered by OAR. That was a song that I discovered from this. I will say that I have discovered a couple of really good songs from this collection, but a lot of them I'm not about. But I found a song by the Weepies that I really liked. Let's see. Rebel Beat, which I talked about, by the Goo Goo Dolls, I really enjoyed. And If I Die Young, I already knew by the band Perry. I have known that song for years, but that was included, so I was happy to see that. And Tell Me a Lie by Griffin House. I discovered Griffin House through this collection. So I kind of have mixed thoughts about it. On the one hand, it's a great way to look up and find songs that you might like. But on the other hand, I don't like a lot of the songs. And I think there's a slight problem with the fact that I'm only focused on the songs and not the poems as much. I find it hard to kind of address the poem itself and get the full meaning of the poem because I'm focused on whether or not I like the song. So it's kind of hard to read a poetry collection and be focusing on the songs. I don't know. I might have to change my approach of reading this just because I don't think it's working out, but I'm going to try to persevere and continue on with it.
Alright, so my camera battery is charging right now, but I come to you on my phone to say that I am currently reading Almost Home by Madison Kuhn, and I think I might have to DNF this. I'm just not interested in it. There was a point in time where I bought like every poetry collection, every modern poetry collection I could get my hands on. Anything that looked interesting, I would just eat it up. And that was at a point in time before I kind of knew a lot about poetry, started reading really great poets and refining my tastes in poetry. And the thing is, there's still a lot of modern poetry that I really like. I just finished reading Between You and These Bones by F.D. Soul, which is modern poetry and has that same modern poetry feel, but is not simple and, I don't know. Let me just read you a passage from a poem called The Little Things. You're the best, even when you're the worst. Even when you scream and criticize and roll your eyes. You are trying and you're human and you see me. You're the best because you care enough to grab my hand and hold it. You're the best. You leave marks on my chest because I told you that I liked it once forever ago. So, one, we're getting a sexual aspect, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. But the way that it's written is so simple and is not, to me, poetic. It's just, you're the best even when you're the worst. To me, that's not a poem. I mean, I can't judge. I mean, who am I to judge what's a poem and what's not a poem? I truly do appreciate modern poetry for its accessibility, and this is a collection that is definitely accessible, but I think poetry still needs to maintain some kind of poetic language to it. I still think there should be careful choice of diction. I still think there should be metaphors and well put ways of saying things, not just simply stating what is being said. I don't know. That's just me. I'm sure there's plenty of people that really like this collection. I picked it up at Target, thought it looked pretty, thought it looked interesting, and for the purposes of what I'm doing here, I don't know if it's worth my time. I really don't. So, we'll see.
Alright, here's the deal, y'all. It is currently the last day in April, and I have read almost no more poetry than when I last talked to you. So, this is what's been happening. One, quarantine is crazy and I have no motivation to do anything. Two, it's almost finals time, so I have been writing papers like a mad woman trying to get everything done. And three, I did another readathon, which is the last video up on my channel, so you can check that out. But I did another readathon in between this readathon. So I was thinking about continuing to do this and trying to push through all of the books that I had set out to do. But the reality of this video was that I wanted to see how many poetry collections I could read within April, which is National Poetry Month. And my total was 3 poetry collections. That just sounds really sad, but I'll be honest, reading for me this month has just been really low. I haven't gotten a lot of reading done, and I've just been really busy writing papers and doing schoolwork. So I finished Felicity by Mary Oliver first. Loved this one. It was such a great poetry collection. Definitely recommend it. And then I read Between You and These Bones, which I also really, really enjoyed a lot. So I'm really glad that I read the ones that I loved the most, because that just makes this experience more worthwhile to me. And then I just finished Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia Cook, and I'll be honest, this was kind of a middle-of-the-road book for me. There were things I liked about it, there were things I didn't like about it, positives and negatives, so I haven't decided if I'm going to rate this 2 stars or 3 stars, but it wasn't my favorite. I was a little bit disappointed because I had hyped this one up a lot. I ended up DNFing Almost Home by Madison Cunn because I just couldn't handle it, but that is all that I read, and I'm a little disappointed in myself, but I'm also happy that I could get done at least 3 and read some really great poetry along the way. Part of me also thinks that there's only so much poetry that you can digest in a short amount of time. The reason that I have so many poetry collections was because I used to eat them up really quickly and read them all in one sitting, but I found myself trying to spread things out and enjoy a few poems at a time, and I just don't know if I could have read 6 poetry collections in such a short period of time with everything else that I was doing. I just don't know if I would have fully digested it and enjoyed it, whereas with at least these 2, I know that I fully enjoyed them, spent the time I wanted to spend with them, and I can look at them and say, hey, these are 2 of my favorite poetry collections that I've read. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of a fail. I didn't really finish my challenge, but it was more of an experiment to see what I could do, what I could get done, and if I enjoyed it. So, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.